What is up, everyone? We are back for the top 5 new brews for Duskmourn. This is deck number 5, the first of the top 5 new brews. We're going up to number 1, of course. This one is Blue-Black Enchantment Midrange. So we got a lot of really sick new cards in blue and black for enchantment synergies. And we had a lot of ones in the past that were also very good. So the synergize very well together. Let's start off with the 1-drops though, and you'll kind of see the theme of the deck start to form as we go through these. So first off, we have 8 enchantment discard effects. We have 4 Hopeless Nightmare and 4 Tiny Bone Joins Up. I always say Tiny Boins, but this time somehow I didn't. But anyway, Tiny Boins. So a lot of times, turn 1, you're gonna play this enchantment, make them discard. But then we're gonna get some value off of playing this. We also optionally have Spiteful Hexmage, which is a 1-drop that's a 3/2, but it comes in with a curse token on it, an enchantment that turns it into a 1/1. But we also have ways to deal with that, so you'll see how that works in a second. So the other 1-drop we have is the new card, Final Vengeance. As an additional card to cast a spell, additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature or enchantment and exile target creature. We have 2 for now. I kind of think it should be 4, but we'll see. So we can use this to exile one of our Hopeless Nightmares or Tiny Bones Joins Up, or even the curse token on our Hexmage, and kill some creature in the opponent, like a Sheoldred or something like that, and turn our Spiteful Hexmage into a 3/2, or just remove some enchantment we don't care about. So that's the first phase of it. The other cool synergies we have is this new card, Fear of Isolation. This is also an enchantment creature. It's a 2-mana 2/3 flying creature, and it says, as an additional cost to cast the spell, return a permanent you control to its owner's hand. So normally this would be like a drawback, right? But we're making it into an advantage because we have these discard effects we played on turn 1. We're going to bounce it back. We get to use it again, make the opponent discard again. Or if we have the Hexmage down, it has a curse roll token on it. We can bounce the curse roll token. It disappears, just making us have a 3/2 and a 2/3 now with flying. So that's pretty solid there. I mean, it's not the biggest creatures, but it's pretty good. And if you get the double discard, then you're going to be pretty happy about that. That's a lot of card advantage. So that's the plan for that. We are also running Get Out. This is a blue and a blue. It's a counter spell for creature or enchantments. But it has a super upside where you can return 1 or 2 target creatures or enchantments you own to your hand. So let's say we have a hand with Hopeless Nightmare, Tiny Bones, and then Get Out. So we can play Hopeless Nightmare. Potentially we could play Get Tiny Bones turn 2. I don't know. This is just all hypothetical anyway. And then later on, we can Get Out. We can bounce those 2 back to our hand and play it again. Make them discard 4 cards, essentially. Or, maybe we play Hopeless Nightmare turn 1, Fear of Isolation turn 2. We get our Hopeless Nightmare back. Turn 3, we play the Hopeless Nightmare down, and we can bounce the Hopeless Nightmare and the Fear back if we want, and just kind of keep cycling this almost infinitely. Not really infinitely, but you get the point. It's like we can keep bouncing it over and over again and casting it. So, and you'll see there's a lot of other things we might want to bounce as well. So next card, Nowhere to Run. 1 in a black flash enchantment that does -3/-3. It also lets you get through ward and hexproof. So that's new and pretty interesting. It's an enchantment again, so after we use it, we can bounce it back and use it again later. Silent Hall Creeper, 1 in a blue. Another solid enchantment creature. The 1/1 can't be blocked. When you deal combat damage to a player, you get to choose one of these 3 things that hasn't been chosen before. First is put 2 +1/+1 counters on it. And so you swing in as a 1/1, and then it becomes a 3/3 for 2 mana. Pretty solid. You can choose to just draw a card if you're, if you're not racing the opponent, and maybe you just draw the card. And you can also have it become a copy of another creature, which we might do later in the game. Okay, for our 3 mana slot, we have Entity Tracker. This is the Enchantress type card in the set. 2 and a blue for a 2/3 with flash. And whenever enchantment enters, you draw a card. So almost everything in this deck is enchantment. Our 1-drop removals, enchantment. Hex Mage, when it comes in, it makes an enchantment, so you get a card. Fear of Isolation, you bounce the thing back. It's an enchantment, you get a card, and then you bounce the thing, play the thing you bounce back, and you get another card. You see where it's going? You kind of have like this draw engine that just keeps going and going. So it seems really cool. I'm sure there's going to be a more tuned version of this deck, but the potential is very, very strong, and I think there's something here. So I'm very excited about this so far. And it doesn't stop there, because we're playing 2 of the Enduring Curiosity card, another flash card. So we have a lot of instant speed and flash in this deck. And this is one of them. And it's an enchantment. So play Entity Tracker turn 3 at the end of their turn. Turn 4, you play your cat, you get a card. And then if you can swing in with any of your 2-drop, 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, then you get another card, or maybe multiple cards. And then even if it dies, let's say they kill the cat, it comes back as an enchantment. So if you still have your Entity Tracker on the battlefield, you'll get another card. And even if you don't, you could potentially bounce the enchantment with one of your bounce spells and play it again as the cat. And so, it just never ends, basically. Your just value never ends. Lastly, we're playing 2 of this Overlord of the Bilmerk. I liked it because it's kind of a 2-drop. You play it on 2. It's an enchantment, draws you cards, like we said. It mills some stuff, and you get creatures back. And, we have a lot of creatures in our deck. There's 4, 8, 12, 16, 18. 18 creatures. So pretty solid, pretty likely chance you'll get something off that. You could even play it for 5 mana later in the game. You can get some creature off it. You can bounce it and then do it again. So there's a lot of potential there. If you get it out as the 5/5 later on in the game, and then you can have Silent Hall Creeper turn into it, and it becomes a 5/5 with the ability. So it's got a lot of synergy with the deck, and it's a 5/5. So it can be very scary later in the game. All right. And then it doesn't stop there, because we got some new lands to talk about. Gloomlake Verge. It's kind of like a dual land, but only if you have some basics out. So we're running 6 basics with Fabled Passage and Gloomlake Verge. So essentially it's kind of like we have 9 basics in the deck. As long as we get one of them out, then this becomes a dual land. So that's pretty solid. And we may even 1/4 one. But the other really cool land we have is Valgavoth's Lair, because it's an enchantment land, and we care about enchantments in the deck. So, for example, you can sacrifice this land to Final Vengeance if you need to. You could bounce, you can bounce it with Fear of Isolation. You can, every time you play this land with Entity Tracker, you'll get a card. You can bounce it with Get Out. So there's so many things you could do with this land, and it's going to probably draw you some cards, at least sometimes of your game with Entity Tracker. So yeah, pretty sweet that we have an enchantment land now. All right, that's it for the blue-black enchantment mid-range deck. I hope you can see the potential. I'm very excited about this one. Just a lot of value, a lot of making the opponent discard, making the opponent deal with your big creatures, and basically they'll want to remove everything of yours if they can. Otherwise, you just get a bunch of value. So that's the deck. We'll have another top 5 brew coming up real soon. Until next time, have a blessed day and see ya.